Welcome back to another episode of the Hopecast with your host, Steve and Richard.
There you go.
How's-
That's it. No, that was good. We're there. And now my right when you do that, my email decides to yell at me. I'm sorry.
Of course,
Yeah.
something.
It's something to practice editing on. I don't care. But anyhow, sir, saw your post this morning.
Yes, I am 9 days away from, I don't even remember what it's called.
Prostatectomy.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah. You'll get better at that.
I am 9 days away from having my prostate removed. This is my last week living with a prostate. How about that?
I would make good use of it, sir. I'm just saying, if there's one piece of advice I give you, take a few days off and go somewhere. No, I can remember being in your shoes, and all I'm saying is I wish you well on this one. But it is next Wednesday.
Yes.
If my calendar is correct. And you
I was just gonna say when this goes live, it'll be this coming Wednesday. So
yes,
we are a week behind in recording. But as of right now, it's 9 days away. It's starting to sink in a little bit. I think I'm still okay.
No, that's a great place to be right now. It was 3 days, and I won't say it's gonna get worse. I think like day 3, your brain starts playing those stupid games with you that you need to stop. Go back to your military training and go, no stinking thinking, and get that in a different place. Because that's the problem, those days. Because come on, you're having major surgery. It is a big deal. Even though it's the easy cancer, and there's, I keep hearing that. After we've discussed it, I don't know how many times. It's weird. Anytime there's a discussion, they go, well, at least that's the easy one to cure. The easy one, okay, number one, you're not going to cure it, right? Because we all have to think about recurrence, but you're changing your life. Number one, major surgery, which was, I think, classified the major surgery, the only one I've had. Knee surgeries and stuff don't count, right? But you're going to leave your house, and you're going to come back, and you're going to have a major part of you that you've had forever, even though you may not have understood its function in your body. You've utilized it, and you're going to miss it. You're going to go through a lot of changes, but I think you are really cool in your mental space. And when you said that the military helped you put things in a compartment and push it to the side, you're golden. There's a thing about all the people that don't have that training, my thing is, push it, put it in a compartment. I've dealt with that, but to go through the training, you know what? You train because at some point you're going to use it. And I hope that you're able to stay on top of the stinking thinking and just go into this thing positive, because I'm telling you, on the backside, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I'm very good at see, I can't say it now. Compartmentalizing.
Compartmentalizing.
Yeah,
Okay, compartmentalizing. Yes, you put it somewhere.
I could stuff it away and think about. I just focus on something else. But it's and I'm kind of fortunate because my surgery's directly after Easter, so I have Good Friday off. So my little 4-week vacation actually starts Thursday at 2:30 in the afternoon, and then I won't be going back to work until May 25th, 26th, somewhere around there, just before June.
So how many weeks did they give you?
Doc said 2 to 4 weeks, but my HR said, okay, well, just take 4 weeks. And I said, yes, I'm good with 4 weeks.
Yeah. because you can always extend it. You can always go back early if you
Yeah.
want to go back early. It's going to be that game of, and here again, you're going to have are you going to have incontinence or not? And that's something that determines when you're ready to go. Sometimes you need a little more time. I personally had no issues with that, but I was doing my exercises as soon as I found out I was having surgery, and I go, wait, those are the same things you've used them before, and so that helps. And on the backside, if you've been doing them and you're healthy, you're gonna, they'll remove the catheter, and you're gonna go, oh no, it's gonna, oh wait, no, that's cool, and whoops, what if it's an accident, or you sneeze, or you do whatever. It's kind of like, women after they've had children and they sneeze and they go, oh no. You go, what? Well, I can't, that's what you're gonna do, right? You guys can sneeze together. um but it's gonna be okay. It's big, but you have 4 weeks of rest and relaxation and podcasting to do.
Yes, and watching baseball.
Baseball. Yeah, you are a big baseball guy, huh?
Yes, I
Is it
love
all sports or baseball your favorite?
I think, it's a toss-up between baseball and football, but, I pretty much like all sports.
How about hockey?
Yeah, so I was a big hockey fan when I lived in Detroit. Um, um, so Nashville does have a hockey team, but I never really got into the Tennessee Titans, the football team, or the Nashville Predators, the hockey team. I am, my heart and soul is in Detroit, Michigan.
There you go.
Yep.
That works. Come on. I had so much Chiefs stuff in here, and people are, oh my gosh, you're a huge Chiefs fan. I go, is it because of Mahomes? Is it because no, I was actually born in Kansas City, Kansas. And so it was kind of like, bred into me. I was a Chiefs fan from the get-go, and all of those 3 and 13 years, and those glory days that we had. And then through the Marty, get us to the playoffs so we can lose, and a lot of
Yeah.
heartache, and now we get into this and it's all good. But like hockey, I'm gonna have to be a Kings fan for life. When I was playing hockey when I was little, we went to the Forum and watched them play all the time, so that was cool. um but baseball is one of those, unless I'm at the game,
Mhm.
I can't get into it as much. But they helped us when they cut the time down on the pitcher,
Yeah,
and they're trying to make it go quicker, and they're using stuff to go, that was a strike, that was, if the
yeah,
can it's making it more enjoyable.
correct.
Remember when hockey put the little chip in the puck and it had that blue ghost line behind it?
Yeah, that
It
was
was helping people
yeah,
that don't play hockey or didn't know where the puck was gonna go or couldn't follow it. It made it enjoyable for them, and I kinda liked it when it went up and the streak went through somebody's face, and stuff out
wonder
there.
why they
It was,
did that. That was cool.
I don't know. But this year, are they really gonna put the chip in the football for first down?
Yeah, that's what they're saying. I think that'll help out a lot as long as I don't know how I'm guessing it's gonna be accurate. GPS, man, does it get more accurate than that?
Well, and that's where I'm wondering. See, that's a great point. Now we're going to talk sports for a while, people.
Yeah,
Where do they put that in there? Right in the field, there has to be sensors as well as having the GPS. But when that ball hits, like in tennis, when they show you exactly where the ball hit, and you go, that is on the line, the corner,
yeah,
and they can do that, that would stop a lot of the BS. And, oh, the Chiefs got there because of that. It wasn't a first down. He didn't have, but you know what? In football, that's one of the problems. It depends on who's ref in the game, and it depends on a lot on who you are. Mahomes is going to get a lot more calls than some newbie, because it is Mahomes.
yeah,
The league makes a lot of money, and it is a money thing, and it's a business. And is there a script? It's funny when they talk about it. because they go, "There's no script." But if there was, and then it happens and you go, "What's going on?" But we'll know if Denver decides to make it to the Super Bowl next year.
So I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I was like, I just figured out like a week ago that Kansas City was in Missouri and in Kansas.
Well, it's funny when people go, "And from the great state of Kansas, it's the Kansas City Chiefs," and I go, "Oh, so close."
Yeah.
But that line is so crooked going through there. You can be like in Overland Park, and you go, well, wait a minute. There's areas where one side of the street's Kansas, the other side is Missouri, and you go, well, no, it happens a lot there. That line kind of bleeds together. So the Kansas side is growing, and the weird thing is they're talking about moving the stadium to Kansas and building a brand new stadium there with a dome and all this. And Arrowhead is magical.
Yeah.
You cannot take away from that magic. Now, if you could pick that stadium up or duplicate it exactly and move it into a nicer part of town, that would be awesome. But if you move a stadium, you know what? You move crime with it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Crime goes where the people are. That's how it works. Hey, we're gonna go over here where no one's at. No. But the football thing, is it rigged? Then you go college ball. There's where it is. Well, now we're paying college athletes.
I hate it. I hate that they're paying college players.
Why?
So, okay, let me back up. I don't
Okay.
mind that I don't like, these kids definitely need to be paid. They're the ones making all the money for these schools. So, let me back up here. I don't mind that they're getting paid. I hate that the portal exists, because if you're not making enough money here, as soon as the season's over with, everybody just bails for the portal. I think, if you're gonna pay a kid, they should be under contract, and, if you don't like where you're at, you shouldn't have signed the contract.
Yeah, well, we had like Chris Jones decides to sit in the stands and watch us play the first game because he didn't have his contract signed. And I go, that is just bad sports.
Yeah.
I mean, that ticked me off. I go, you're a baby. You have a contract this year. Your contract says you needed to be at practice and needed to be on the field, and now you're in the stands mocking all these people that went through all this. And then you're going to walk back on the field and you're going to start playing because of who you are. And yes, we let him play.
If you owned a business and you broke a contract with a vendor, what would happen?
Yeah, that's it.
You would get sued.
Yeah. Um, but see, they're allowed to start this negotiation process a year and a half or whatever. How dumb is this? I don't know. I love that we've changed lanes on this and allowed people to think about something other than the doom and gloom, right?
Hey, we talk about everything here at the
Hey, you know
Hopecast.
what? We can. But it's a weird deal. I soccer is not my thing. Played it when I was a little kid. Playing baseball. Maybe it's because my heart was playing hockey. I was bored to death out there. You can be playing third base because you have an arm to get it over to first base if you need to, right? But what are the chances a ball's going to be hit to you? In a game, how many times does the third baseman touch the ball?
Mm. I mean it's not, you're not getting action like hockey, that's for sure.
And you're not a shortstop action where that ball's smacking at you. You're not first base, pitcher, catcher, but you have the same opportunity as the outfield to actually touch the ball. You have a narrower piece of pie of area you have to cover because the ball's moving faster. That's how that makes sense, right? And I got so bored. I went the entire inning and it was like, oh, yep, somebody ran past me because they smacked the ball out to the guy in outfield and he couldn't pick it up. They throw air. You've seen them do that. So baseball, something about going to a game though. And when we had the radio station, we'd go to the Royals games and we'd sit right behind home plate because we got free tickets. And you're with the players' wives and the uppity ups that are,
Mhm.
passing the cup around. And you've done that, right? The dollar in the cup when they throw the ball up there on the mound. and it goes, ooh, and if it doesn't stay actually, and somebody wins the pot if it does, and whatever. They're putting hundreds in there. They're not doing dollars. And hey, I'll buy the next round of beer, which is crazy anymore. But
Yeah.
we were back there, and the excitement is crazy. But I don't. I mean, home plate was cool because it was summertime and it was hot, and you were in this, completely covered.
Yeah.
But something about being out in the stands in the sun and the crowd and the hot dogs and peanuts and the barkers and all the stuff. It's exciting when you're at the stadium.
Yeah.
And so when you go and you get to see the Lions and the energy is crazy. It doesn't matter win, lose, whatever. You're there, you're at the game, you're in the now.
Yeah.
You send people to the now.
Yes.
And how cool is that? I mean, that excitement that we're talking about, you're doing a full-fledged thing, and I know this is completely off topic, but it's your other podcast, it's your other nonprofit, or I don't know, your only nonprofit that
Correct.
you have. Talk about it for a second.
Yeah. So 4 years ago, I started a podcast where I sit down and I get to actually I asked my buddy who's a Marine. I was in the Navy. My buddy was a Marine. I asked him if he'd want to. Told him I have this idea. I'm going to start a podcast. I was like, "Would you like to be my co-host?" And this is the concept. Every Sunday evening, we're going to sit down. We're going to get the life story of a veteran. Whatever they want to talk about, but the hour's basically theirs. We usually start where they were, raised, high school life, and why you joined whatever branch you're in, and then we get on to deployments and what you did. Was it wartime? And maybe they might tell a war story, and it got really emotional. And like the common theme early on was veteran suicide. And so I knew that I was onto something with this podcast. And to me, it's very important to talk, right? Much exactly why I asked Steve here to be on this podcast with me, because it's very important to talk about your issues, instead of sit there and bottling them up. It's the same concept as with the
Sure.
Hopecast and TSP. And so I was getting all these stories out, and I was just blown away, man. Like, there's some very somber stories, man. And so I decided, and that podcast started making a little bit of money, and it really wasn't my goal to profit off of these stories, right? So I came up with this idea of starting a nonprofit, and then the nonprofit early on was nothing what it is today. So it was more like uh, maybe doing like a piece of yard art uh, for a veteran, where it'd be like a cutout of a flag or a soldier kneeling at a cross, and then and that was very cool. But as I grew, it evolved. And so now what I do is I send veterans, first responders, and Gold Star family members to amazing events. So I get them out of their house. I'll even line them up with a mentor if they need somebody to talk to. And the concept is a stress-free evening. I don't want them to take a dollar out of their pocket, because even though you can send somebody to a free event, a free event is still going to cost you 200 or 300 bucks. By the time you park, I mean, parking alone, some places is $100. You go buy a hot dog, a beverage, you're up to $200. So we pay for the entire event, and it's our way to stop veteran suicide. As we know, 22 veterans every single day commit suicide. And if you talk about drug overdoses, that number is more like 40 veterans every single day lose their lives, all because they served their country. And I've had some friends that actually commit suicide, so it's a very near and dear to my heart. And anytime a veteran commits suicide or dies of an overdose, even though I don't know them, I feel like a piece of me dies with them. So it's just something that is very meaningful to me. And what I do is I have actually season tickets to Detroit Lions. So during NFL season, every Sunday during the home game, there's two groups of veterans in my seats. And I'm very proud to announce that this year, 2025 will be our very first year in our brand new seats. I was in the nosebleed seats because, as we all know, tickets are very expensive.
Yes, sir.
We've done so much great work that I was able to move from the nosebleeds down to the action, and, I bought, it was a hard pill to swallow, but I was like, "Well, this is what I'm doing it for. It's not my money." Well, it's my money, but, this is what this money's, generated for. So I went ahead and bought 4 seats right down in the action, and it was very, very expensive. Something I never would have done for myself. But, you
You
know
would have liked to have done for yourself, because that's what I'm getting out of this. You're putting him in a position to see something that they wouldn't get to see.
Yes.
You know, you think about the prostate cancer people and the money that goes out, and then you go, do you know what kind of an impact that this has? And when you say gold star families, you had said that numerous times, and I didn't know what it was. And I asked a
Yeah.
buddy, and he goes, "It's a family where they've lost a family member in the service." And I go,
Mhm.
"Oh my gosh!" So it
Yeah.
was even more awesome, right? It's not just, it's everyone that's involved in this,
Yes.
but if you can do the brain break and they get to experience something that they wouldn't have experienced,
Yep.
because sitting down there, that cost of the 2 seats and the parking and all of that,
Yep.
it's something that most people, can't swallow. They, you know what? I'm gonna spend $1,000, or if it, whatever it is, to go see that. But when you put them down there and that energy level from the field, do they mention these people during the game?
Not yet, but, that's kinda my goal. I wanna get to that point where I have a liaison with the organization, and they can put them up on the, maybe on the big screen.
I would think with what you just purchased and why you're doing it, all you have to do is ask,
Yeah.
and they would definitely happen. Maybe even go, "Hey, let them come out onto the field." And talk about what you're, I mean, I don't know, this is a big deal. And to me, when I started listening to the podcast, listened to a few episodes, and the one that I shared with you earlier, you go, "Who?" And then once I started talking, you go, "Oh wait, you're doing that word for word what he said."
Yeah.
That was a very emotional one, only because of the stuff that he had gone through, and to be that level-headed and be able to talk about it. But the thing is, you guys are sharing conversations that a lot of people find it really, really, really hard to talk to their family about.
Yeah.
Um, my nephew was over in Iraq and Afghanistan. He was in the Marines. He was holding a 50 cal like our buddy, going in, and things were blowing up, and it was so hard on my brother because he got back and he didn't want to talk to my brother about it.
Yeah.
You haven't been there, you haven't experienced anything like this. Just the fact that you're this far away from home, and you're 24/7 scared, and you're doing this for the love of your country, and you're
Yeah.
putting your life on the line every single day. Well, he had a hard time with that. He came back and he got on the LAPD, and he said, "I want to go to Watts." I go, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "I need action. I need to go where things are going." It was that adrenaline rush that
Mhm.
he was chasing, and all of the things that he dealt with. In every picture, he looks like this. It's weird. You can't experience it, and you
Yeah.
unless you have, kind of like this prostate cancer thing, right? Until you've been there, or you have a loved one that's going through it, you don't know. And so I just want to say thank you for doing what you're doing with your other podcast and the nonprofit. I think it is awesome that you're able and you were blessed enough to be able to do that. But you know, we probably should get back to the whole prostate thing, right?
Yeah,
Um,
same thing.
Question for you. Um, how often do we, and I'm going to say get your PSA checked every time, but to go into some of the little bits and pieces of what happens and the steps it takes, do we just back people up to other episodes, or you've been doing your podcast for a while. This is kind of like a break-in thing. Radio, you would repeat things because you never had anything you could physically go back to and listen to what was said, which was good in a lot of cases when I was talking. You go, what did he say? And it was gone. There was no proof. Now it's a little different, but there are things, the PSA test. Um, I will share a story with you, and get your reaction by what your facial expressions are. Had to go take a DOT physical. We have to do it every year. So I train all the new drivers at the school district on how to drive a bus and help them through all the ELDT things. And we have to have a physical every year if you're going to drive a bus. Over the road, it's 2 years, and they submit it and all the things that go on. But the mechanic and I went down to have our physicals, and I went in, I did my thing, I came out, and he went in. And when he came out, the doc said, well, you need to make an appointment with your doctor and have them look into this. And so I didn't, it's not my business, but said, well, there was some protein or blood in my urine. And he goes, but it's been like that for the last 3 years. And I go, what's your PSA? And he said, I don't know. When I did my thing, the doctor didn't check it. I said, you're 50 some odd years old, 52, 3. I go, what do you mean he's never checked it? Does he know about this protein situation? Now, there's other things that can cause this, right? We've talked about that. But I go, that would be a concern. I go, 2 people personally that you've worked with that had prostate cancer. And I go, this is something I'm begging you to go get this done. The PSA is just that. It's a prostate specific antigen, and your prostate produces this, and it's at a level that most of the time is undetectable or very low. There's a margin between that 1 and 4 where you go, hey, it actually is on the chart, right? You don't want it on the chart, but when it does, but that baseline is so important because then you can see if it's going up. Now, if you do it and they said, hey, your PSA was a little high, we're going to send you to the urologist. He does the DRE, and he says, I don't feel anything. You know what? We're going to wait. We'll test you again in 6 months and see what your PSA level is. If you have that upward trend, it gets a radical jump. It says, ding, 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 ding. That doesn't mean you have prostate cancer. Your PSA is high. The doctor says we're sending you. You can't get scared at that point.
Yeah.
That's when you're going to do some education, right? But then when you do the DRE, which is, I don't know why they call it a digital rectal exam when it's his digit. Maybe that's what they do. I don't know. It's not digital. It's a digit rectum. Okay, just kidding. You're going to have to go through that one. And then, they're going to say, hey, I don't know any, don't feel anything. Do what?
I said, don't be afraid of it, by the way. It's really not that bad.
Okay. No, it really isn't. It's just the first time you have to do it, you go, oh my gosh. And you go, and they all say the same thing. Don't worry, I have skinny fingers.
Yeah.
You go, yeah, that's okay. Now, if you go in there and you go, well, where do I put my pants? And he goes, just put them over there by mine. Run. Okay, you have to make jokes every now and then, right? This is all crazy.
So his hands are on your shoulders. You might want to run also.
Okay. You almost made me go somewhere in that, like that little radio world where, I go, no one's going to know I said that. They could, they would, they will. So anyhow, so you go through this and he says, you know what? I really think we need to do a CAT scan. We need to do an MRI. Sometimes they don't do the CAT scan. Sometimes it goes straight to an MRI. And at that point, they can see it. they can do a PIRAD score on what they see, and that's just that determination of, is it cancer? It's 1 through 5, right?
Mhm.
And says, you have a large PIRAD 5 lesion on your prostate. And I said, well, crap, this is not what I wanted to hear. So what do we do? And they said, well, the next thing is, and they didn't do, well, the next thing is going to be your biopsy that they do. And if you were afraid of the first one, this one's going to freak you out. But again, we went through it and they didn't even give us medication for that. They just, I put crust Canadian ragweed on my phone and I was listening. Doc did his thing.
I'm
All
here.
the students watching.
I'm hearing now from the support group that people are getting put out. I'm like, where the hell was that option at?
Yeah, but you know what? Did you need it?
No,
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 you didn't need it. It was uncomfortable on the drive home.
no, embarrassing.
And you go, well, that was interesting to see, and that's that's something I'll never do again. Well, I don't have to because I don't have the prostate. But they'll go in, and with the MRI, they'll do an MRI guided biopsy, and they line the MRI up with the ultrasound that they're seeing, and it's lined up so when they go in and they take the core samples, they get where they need to be. When you get that result back, then you're going to know what your PS or what your Gleason score is going to be. And the Gleason score is the one that you need to know. Is it going to be low or high on the Gleason? You don't want it 8 or 9.
No,
You want it 3s if
yeah.
they're going to do it, and a 3-4 or whatever. And they go, wait, is that a 3-4 or a 4-3? Which one were you?
I was a 3-4. 4-3 is the bad one. You don't want 4-3, right?
Either one of them isn't a good thing.
Well, yeah, I'm just
Well,
saying.
then you're right. If they said 3-4, that's the better Gleason. That's the better cancer score.
I had to pick one.
If you do, you'd want the 3-3 if anything, and you go, well, they're abnormal, but we don't know. You're going to go on what they call active surveillance is one of your options. Anytime you get a 4 involved in this, I don't care if it's a 3-4 or a 4-3, you know that 4 is in there. And you go, okay, so this is something I need to take care of. And the doctors will go through this, and then they will say, now you need to go talk to a surgeon, the guy that's going to, perform that surgery. Or if you want to do the radiation, you get to go see the cancer, the oncologist, radiologist. All these ologisty people are going to be next for you, and they're going to help you make a decision. And again, it's your decision. Whatever you decide to do, we're with you. And everyone should be. Don't let them tell you what you're doing is wrong because they don't know your situation.
Yeah, don't let anybody berate you.
That happened to you.
Yeah, it did. Got beat
No,
up.
you did. You got beat up. And they go, oh, well, what you should do is, what you should do is, see, you almost made me do it again. I was going to go back to the other joke that we had that we didn't say. But when you get that and they did that to you, you ran away from a site that is supposed to be there to help you.
Yes, correct.
And
support group. That's what support groups do. They support people.
Yeah. I will support you as long as your decision is my decision.
Exactly.
Is what sometimes you get into, because I think the ones that yell at you are ones that did something and they regret their decision. So they're getting on there going, like they're beating their chest, being all, I'm superior. No, you're not. We're all in this same stinking battle.
And you can't play that game with regret, man. Like woulda, coulda, shoulda, man. Just leave that at the front door, man. Like get that out of your head. Pick a decision, go with it, and just live with it. Because like say you went this path, something bad goes wrong. What's to say if you went this path, something equally or worse thing what
Right.
went wrong? You don't know. Just you made a decision, you're gonna live with it. And that's it. That's
One thing you're going to get, though, once you have your prostate removed, they're going to give you the report, the pathology report. They're going to go in and you're going to get cancer screened. They're going to tell you where the cells are mutated and which ones they are and what that means looking forward and all this.
Yeah.
So that's a really cool thing. But at the same time, mine jumped and it was an ugly thing. They said, when we're done, now you're in an 8/9 on that deal. That big growth that we talked about, your Pyrad 4, that was a 9. That was like a 4 or 5. You have 3 5s, and but there are 5s and they're ugly, and it could be outside the margin. And guess what? It was outside the margin. If I would have had radiation, they would have blasted. It would have came back. Then what do? There are options. You can do things on the backside of radiation. But my thing was, this thing was large. It's cancer, and it was so crazy in my family, and I've seen so much devastation, and I said, no, I want this out of my body yesterday.
Yeah.
And that was a decision. My wife and I said 100%. She goes, I'm with you, whatever you want to do, but I am so glad you made that decision. And I go, where were you when I was making it? And she goes, we weren't done talking about it, right? You hadn't made that final, but it's one of those, you have to figure out how you want to do it. Look at the side effects, and figure out how you want to proceed. Now, in my case, I'm fortunate enough that it was outside the margins. It is doing whatever it's doing, but the prostate's gone. So when the PSA goes up, it's other cells that are going, hey, hello, we're still here. And
Yeah.
at that point, I have that decision. Do you do it now and do the prostate bit and say it hasn't gone anywhere else? I think we talked about that the other day, and I said I don't know what I would do, and then I've said no, I would go ahead, I think, with the prostate bed, because if it's gonna go, that's the first place it's gonna go, right in the bones and in the lymph nodes. And although the lymph nodes were wonky, they said there wasn't cancer in there, so it hadn't gone there. But did it go just into that tissue, and it can wake up whenever it wakes up? Because there is a difference in what you have done and your reoccurrence, because the reoccurrence rates, prostate cancer, vary depending on factors, including initial stage and grade of the cancer, type of treatment, surgery, radiation, hormone therapy, Gleason score, PSA levels before and after. Need to know what's going on, age, overall health of the patient. And it goes through and it keeps saying all these things are the same exact things you have to look at when you're making your first decision. So don't let somebody else tell you what that decision should be, because they don't know all this. They're going by a little paragraph you put up there. Go, I think my Gleason score was, because you're new, you're scared, and these people are all, you are fresh. We're going to yell at you because I made a dumb choice, or whatever they did. I don't know. But when they're talking about the reoccurrence, it really depends on what kind of surgery, what kind of treatment you had going into it, right? Because a biochemical reoccurrence, what is that, sir? Do you know? That is they're going to teach you this, okay? Your PSA level, if it rises to a certain threshold after your treatment, it's known as biochemical reoccurrence. It means some of the cancer cells have survived and are producing PSA. If it happens, the doctor is going to order additional tests, make recommendations on how to manage your disease, and just as you did the first time, consider your second opinion and seeking care from multidisciplinary teams, and go from there. So you redo what you've already done. Basically, you get to go back through some steps.
Sounds
But it what?
sounds awesome.
It does. But you know what? On the other hand, you get that report back and it says everything was contained, which yours said. Mine, they said, well, with this, there is a possibility. They didn't tell me what they told me on the backside, because I recorded my doctor's little helper and said, hey, we suspected that it was going to be outside the margins to begin with, and we were correct. And I go, why didn't you tell me this?
Yeah, let's be honest.
Because when you do this, that could have been a different course of action. It could have been removal and radiate. I don't know how soon you can do that. I will tell you, there's a lot of this stuff I don't know. Um, and, I'm learning as I go. And as we learn, you learn. And I'm hoping that as people are jumping on that support page, and I want to say, please go over and check this out, because we're talking about the same things you're worrying about. And so when we get people on here to talk, that's what we get to do. And I think when we jump in the trenches with individual stories, it's going to be exactly like what happened with your podcast. And it's going to get emotional, and it's going to get real in a hurry.
Yeah, definitely. So let me ask you a question. Was your urologist your surgeon also?
No, he was not doing those surgeries. He actually did the frozen surgeries back in the day, which is like if you did radiation, then you wanted it removed. And it's actually one way they can do it now. But
Yeah.
if you freeze it, obviously it's a non-nerve sparing surgery or whatever. But he is tied in with this group that I dealt with. They drink scotch and play golf together, and go to those meetings that they go to. And so they're talking all the time and talking about new theories, and they're big people in the game, but they're small fish in this pond. There's what doctor do you go to? And the ones that say, oh, go to the Mayo Clinic, go to this, go to that. How do I do that?
Yeah. I don't have the ability to go to the Mayo Clinic.
I don't have the ability to go to the Lions game and sit down on the field
Exactly.
either. So I mean, it's something you go, no, I don't know what you're talking about. I can't relate. But anyhow, this whole journey is just that, and we need more people to get on here and talk to us about it, because that's when you learn. You get to pay attention to what's happening. And I know we have a show in the bank. I don't even know what's coming up next.
Tomorrow, Neil, I believe tomorrow's Neil, person that we just talked to last.
Okay.
Hey,
All right.
unless there's one of them, I don't remember. I'm not
We
going to
have
say.
Healy.
I
Did
think
we
I don't,
see?
I don't
See,
remember.
I don't know.
I'll have to look.
Okay. The guy that we just talked to, that was good.
I would
That's
like
a
I would like to talk to Healy again before I leave for my little vacation, but it's going to be tight because I have my other podcast is going to fill up. I think this week I might be able to fit one more show, one more Hopecast show in, but I won't be able to record Monday because I have to go to pick up my father at the
Mhm.
airport. He wants to be at the hospital when I have my surgery.
That's awesome.
So
That's awesome. So anytime. I am here to work around your schedule. I know we want to get them, but if we can throw a couple pre-records during that and get back, and if we have to, we'll replay a show that you care to replay. It doesn't matter. We just need to get you operated on and get you better and on the mend so we can continue to do this.
yes, that's the goal.
That's what's going to happen. We spoke that into existence. It's all good. So
When
anyhow,
I talked to my surgeon when I had my pre-op stuff
yes, sir.
last week, and I told him, I was like, "Man, I hope you're good and rested next Wednesday and I have your A game." He goes, "Hey, as a matter of fact, this week, which is right now," he says, "This will be the first time my wife and I get to go on vacation without children, so I'm going to be really rested up. So don't worry about it." And I was like, "Oh, that's awesome." But I was like, "Hey, but wait a second, don't drink too much."
Yeah, really. Okay, now wait, stop. There's that fine line. Yeah. Yeah, my surgeon, they came in and said, we're going to push yours back a little bit. Him and his partner are doing surgery, and it's very difficult. and so it's going long. My wife goes, "Great, that's what happened to you. He was tired." And I said, "They're not going to. Come on, they they are not doing that." And so anyhow, I was just
What time did
kidding
you
when
get
I
to
said
the
that.
hospital?
Do what?
What time did you have to be at the hospital?
Early. I was there early in the morning,
Yeah.
and yeah, and
Still had a surgery before you?
yes. Yeah, I mean, they want you there. I mean, we were driving 2 hours, or an hour and a half to get there rather. And so we wanted to get there early. I didn't sleep, obviously. I figured I'd take a nap during the surgery. And
Yeah,
uh, we got there and it wasn't like bright and early, but I think they started this other one. I don't know if it was some emergency thing he was assisting with or if they actually had a prostatectomy before or what they were doing. But
yeah.
it was quote difficult and I had to wait. Um, so, it is what it is.
Yeah, nothing ever goes as planned.
That's why she said have that backup plan in your brain and be okay with things changing.
Exactly.
All
Well,
right.
I have to be at the hospital at 6 AM,
Surgeries at
8 AM.
8. Are they doing one before you?
That's I don't know, I didn't even I was gonna ask, it slipped my mind. I don't know, to be honest with you.
And I was thinking mine was supposed to be at 8. I think they did the first one at 6.
Yeah,
But I go, "Man, did you have enough coffee? Did but this is what they do. And so they're not going to put you in danger. And so we'll have to just take that one day at a time and we'll see how that pans out, but
yes,
we'll
sir.
record whenever you want to record, sir. And so you let me know. And before we get out of here, you do have words of wisdom for me.
Yes, sir. Be kind to yourself and keep showing up for this beautiful life.
I like it. Until next time.
See you guys next week.